What's going on, guys? Ants Trades back with another video. Pretty boring day today, more or less what I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting anything too crazy today. Um, we're still tracking perfectly. There's nothing to be worried about. Everything still looks great. And I am still expecting all-time highs next week. I'm expecting all-time highs next week, guys, and we're gonna get into that. Um, yeah, so let's just jump right into the video. We'll start with the SPY today. Um, SPY had a little bit of a pullback today. If you remember me mentioning in the video yesterday, that's what I was saying. I said I could see a pre-market gap down, maybe to 410, the 410 level here. I believe it gapped down to 411 or so, and then bounced all the way back up to 416, traded up here for a few hours, and then came back down and closed the day around 412. Overall, still bullish. Like I said yesterday, I'm bullish on SPY. Short to midterm, I'm going to be bullish for a while here. Volume pretty much the same as yesterday. Again, I'm not really paying too much attention to volume. And really quickly looking at the EMAs again. The 20 is crossed and the 50 is probably, we'll probably see a golden cross on SPY next week. So you could probably expect the SPY you're going to see some nice movement to the upside next week for the SPY. Overall, it looks really good. Nothing to complain about. Hopping really quick into the 1 hour. Let me throw my trend line back up. Take a look at this really quick. So here's our bull trend that we have going on. So pretty much the movement that we got today was what I was expecting. For Monday, I could see this playing one of two ways again. I'm just going to throw scenarios like I always do. There's a possibility of coming all the way down to 410 or maybe even our bull trend line. I find that more unlikely. I'm thinking this thing is going to bounce on Monday. I think we're going to see a bounce and probably head upwards into like the 420s. If we do come all the way up to 426, that would be a pretty crazy day. But if we do, you're going to find some resistance there. Yeah, overall bullish. I see nothing to complain about here. Everything looks great still with the SPY. Everything looks great with AMC, and everything looks great with APE. So that's pretty much it for the SPY. Really not much to talk about there today. Jumping now into AMC. Going to the daily. Take a look at what we got going on. Here's today's daily candle. I'm not worried about this candle at all. It's, at first glance, it does look like a weird looking candle. And I was thinking that earlier today too. I was like, that's weird. Because I was more or less, I was expecting to see a gap up, maybe even not the 8, but maybe just a little bit higher. But looking at the 1 hour, it makes perfect sense. So I'm not even concerned with this daily candle at all. I think we're fine, guys. We're still tracking perfectly. When I tell you we're tracking perfectly, I mean we're tracking absolutely perfectly. Once we broke the wedge, I was kind of expecting the algo to switch up a little bit, maybe get a little bit more volatile and crazy. But it turns out we're still following perfectly to the January 2021 squeeze. And I'm going to show you guys that in the 1 hour. But it is legitimately the exact same thing. Nothing has changed. Even when you break out like the first two candles, on the daily they look different, but on the 1 hour it's the exact same thing. So I'm going to show you guys that in a little bit. Volume was a little bit higher than yesterday, so that's looking good. We got some increasing volume going on. Really quick before we do jump into the 1 hour though, I am going to go over the bars pattern once again. Not sure if I have some new people here, so I'm going to do this again. And this will probably be the last time that I do this bars pattern because we are at the end of the road. So you'll see what I mean in a minute once I run through this. So really quickly, and we're going to just start from the breakdown out of the flag in November. And for anyone new here, this bars pattern is pulled from this 3 fractal segment here that led up to the January 2021 squeeze. These 3 fractals were flat. Just picture grabbing this, pick it up, and that's what you have going on over here. It's the same thing, it's just descending because this is a descending wedge. We actually broke out of our descending wedge and gapped up, and now this is where we're sitting. And these 2 candles that we have sitting right here are comparable to these two candles right here, right before the algo snaps and you see all-time highs in January. So with that being said, I'm just going to run through the bars pattern one more time. This will probably be the last time that I do it because I am expecting to squeeze next week. I'm expecting all-time highs next week and a cycle reset. So really quickly, what you have is the breakdown in November. You go down and you get this bounce up. You have it right here. You continue down and then you form this W and there's some extra in there, which we have here. Same exact thing. And then you rip back up to the top, rip back up to the top. Same thing. So that's the green one that we have right here. Next is the red, this one right here, overlaid right here. You come down, have a shelf. You come down, have a shelf. Keep coming down. You get this low wick here, which you have here. You get this higher wick here. You have the same thing there. You form a cup. You form a cup here. Come down and up, and then rip back up to the top. Same exact thing. Blue fractal. Come down to a point, bounce up. Come down to a point, bounce up. Continue down. You get this candle up here, this wick up here. You have it right here as well. Keep coming down. You have a U, a higher U. You have a U, a higher U. And then you come all the way down, bottom out, and then bounce up. And this is where you got rejected off the wedge in January 2021. Same exact spot right here. You retrace, and then you break out, and then you see some gaps, and then you squeeze. So, guys, it's still tracking perfectly, always has been. No complaints. We're still tracking perfectly, and in my opinion, we're going to see all-time highs next week. So that's pretty much it for the bars pattern. I'm going to show you guys what I've been looking at now. Now, I did mention yesterday that I could see a scenario possibly where we gapped up to around the $8 range. We didn't end up getting that, and my whole reasoning for speaking about that being a possibility was I thought possibly the algorithm would change up a little bit now that we broke out of the wedge. Maybe it would get a little bit more volatile and we'd see some crazy days. But it turns out we're actually following the fractal perfectly still. Like when I say perfectly, I mean it's the exact same thing. The daily candles look a little bit different, but it's the same exact thing when you look on smaller time frames. So really quick, in January when you break out of the wedge, this is the candle you get the same thing here. Same looking candle. The volume here was lower than the next day, and same thing here. The volume was lower than the next day. Next day you gap up, and you get this red candle on a gap up. Slightly higher volume than the green, like I just said. Same thing over here. You gap up on the red candle, slightly higher volume in the green. And then the next day after that, back here you saw a gap up again, and traded more or less in the same range. You have a wick that comes slightly lower than the body of this candle. This wick here is slightly lower than this, and the volume is slightly higher. Over here, same thing. You get a wick slightly lower than this body, and the volume is slightly higher. We didn't gap up over here, but it's still it's the same thing. Same thing, same range. Like if you're looking at this, this is the gap up candle the first time. You have a higher high on this candle, and then the lower wick comes down a little bit past the body of this candle here. Over here, same thing. This is our gap up candle, and then today we have a higher wick, and then the lower wick is a little bit lower than the body of this candle, and the volume profile is the exact same. Guys, this thing is following to a fucking T. Like legitimately, it's the same exact thing, and I'm going to show you now on the 1 hour what I mean. The bars pattern, guys, that I've been showing you, we're done. We are at the end of the road, and the next thing is a squeeze. Guys, we're seeing all-time highs next week, in my opinion. It could be early in the week. I'm expecting it to be early in the week. Maybe it could be later in the week. Let's really quick just jump into the 1 hour, and I want to show you guys what I'm looking at. So we'll throw that up over there. We'll go pre-January over here. All right. So really quick, I'm just going to throw these on again. These are new. I didn't have these on yesterday. I threw them on today because I thought it would maybe make this a little bit more easy to visualize. So, annoying. Once again, this trend line should be down here. The hourly trend lines on TradingView get messed up. This trend line should be running through this down here. That was our breakout right here. just the same as this broke out here. So pre-January, you get this. This is how it plays out. So you find your bottom back here. It's off the screen. Come up, get rejected off the wedge, and then your retracement pattern is a W. More or less, it's a W. It breaks you out, and then you break out. You come flat a little bit, and then you gap up. I have it highlighted, so green is green, and then the red is the red. So same thing over here. You find your bottom, start running up, get rejected off the top of the trend line. Again, this trend line should be down here. You get rejected off the trend line, and then you form your retracement pattern, which is a W. I mentioned that this one is flat because these three fractals were flat, and this one is slanted down, descending, because this was in a descending wedge. So it's a W, still the same thing. We broke out right here, and then you come up, flatten out, gap up. Same thing. So you break out, flatten out, gap up. Break out, flatten out, gap up. Now, this is where we are. And it's the exact same thing, guys. I did mention today that there was a possibility that we could maybe see an after hours run. And I'm going to show you why. When you gap up from this, you form more or less what looks like a W, right? And then these candles right here, this was 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then this was after hours here. Boom candles, all the way up. And then this ran into the next day, pre-market, which is Wednesday, which was where you got all-time highs. That's how this played out. You played this pattern out for about 2 days, and then after hours, the second day, you saw boom candles in after hours, and then the next day after that, pre-market, is when you saw the high. That's why I thought maybe we could see, some crazy price action after hours today. But our pattern really didn't finish playing out until the end of the day. So it is what it is. I mean, it would have been cool to see some crazy price action today, but that's life. We have to wait a couple more days. I'm not mad at all. Like I said, guys, we're in the middle of our squeeze. I'm expecting all-time highs next week, and we're still tracking perfectly. So getting into these red rectangles now, this is where we are, right here. This is exactly where we are, and this is right before this rip. So back here, you flatten out, gap up, right? You flatten out, gap up. This gap was a little bit smaller, and then we got some more green candles that, like full candles, that took us all the way to the top. So you could picture this candle is starting right here. So you get some downward price action, and you form a cup, which is exactly what we have here. And then this cup, actually, you have a couple more candles that bring it higher than this. And you have the exact same thing over here. It's a cup, and then you come a little bit higher, right? Cup, and then you come a little bit higher. You have some higher wicks and candles right here. And then you come down, right? Just like we did over here, you come down. And then this is what's next, guys. This is where we are, right here. Anywhere in these 4 candles right here is where we are. This might like flatten out for a couple more hours, maybe the rest of after hours, we're just flat here. Honestly, guys, I'm kind of expecting this to be our Monday morning pre-market. Maybe not, this is just where we are, so that's what I'm expecting. The bars pattern is done, guys. We're at the end. There's nothing left for me to compare to once this pattern plays out, because after this we should rip. And that's not to say that this thing, the algo can't drag this out a little bit longer, and kind of do this, because it can. That's possible. But at this point, I just think it's unlikely. And these patterns played out pretty much the exact same way, where you get the gap, and then this top here is lower than this top, and this low here is lower than that. And same thing, this is lower than this top, this low here is lower than this low. It's the exact same thing, guys. Exact same thing. I'm expecting Monday morning to be pretty fucking crazy for us, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is what I'm expecting Monday morning. Pre-market. Maybe we don't get that. Maybe it's during the day. Maybe we go sideways a little bit again. Forming some like, these are higher lows here. I mean, we're on an uptrend. This is good, and it's the same as this. But this is what I'm expecting Monday morning. Like I said, it doesn't have to be Monday morning. The algo could, drag us, a little bit more like this. Slow it down a little bit. I just don't see that happening. I'm expecting Monday to see some pretty big fucking boom boom candles here. Uh, Possibly all-time high Monday. It really just depends on how this plays out. Maybe what you get is, we start ripping on Monday, um, to a certain point, flatten out, maybe like come down a little bit, and then after hours keep ripping into Tuesday morning pre-market. You get your high, and then from there the cycle resets. Um, I'm expecting to see all-time highs next week, guys. Just plain and simple. That's what I'm expecting. Um, there's really nothing else for me to say. This is where we are. So it's the same exact thing, guys. It's the same exact thing. I don't know if you guys can see it as well as me. I mean, if you're not really like used to looking at fractals and patterns like this, it could be a little bit different at first. But like I said, this is just it's the same thing. You have a W here, you have a W here. This is descending because we were in a descending wedge. This was flat, and then you gap up, and then this is the movement you get right before you rip. Right before you squeeze, this is the movement you get. It's a W, lower low, higher high, lower low, right? That's what we got. Lower low, higher high, higher low. Same thing. Same exact thing. I think we're gonna see all-time highs Monday or Tuesday, guys. I know that's pretty crazy of me to say, considering we're trading at 614 right now, and I'm predicting 140 for the top. But I think we are going to see all-time highs Monday or Tuesday next week. And that is pretty much that. It looks great. It looks great. At first glance, maybe it was a weird day. It was a weird day today. The candles were weird, but on the hourly, it's the same exact thing. It's where we are, guys. 2-year long descending wedge, breakout, gap up, and then we get a sideways day today. Same exact thing over here. Same exact fucking thing. Breakout, gap up, sideways day. And then the next day was this. Who knows? Maybe Monday morning pre-market they just fucking run it to 140 before open. That's a possibility. Maybe Monday morning from 4 o'clock until fucking 9:30, they just run this thing to the sky, and then at open, people FOMO in, buy the top, and then they bring it back down again. So yeah, that's where we are, guys. We are this 3 fractal segment here is done. It's done. We broke out, gapped up, got the second candle. Broke out, gapped up, got the second candle. Next thing that we get is all-time highs. So that's it. That's where we are, guys. It's looking really, really fucking good. I really don't know what else to say anymore. I really, really don't. And the people that are still doubting me, I really don't know why. I still don't get it, but it's fine. We're there, guys. We're there. We're in the home stretch. Next week, I think it's going to be a very, very, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be very exciting for us. So that's pretty much all I have for today. Really quickly, we could just take a look at Ape. Another green day today for Ape. Things are looking good. Gapped up yesterday. Today went a little bit higher. Everything looks good. Everything looks good. I have absolutely no complaints. Would have been cool to see some boom booms, after hours today, but we didn't get that. So Monday morning, it looks like we should see some action. Like I said, it doesn't have to be Monday morning. Maybe the algo drags it out and brings us sideways like a day or two more. Food for thought really quick. The peaks in June and January were both on a Wednesday. So food for thought. Maybe Monday we go sideways. Maybe Tuesday, you start seeing some crazy price action, and then Wednesday morning pre-market is when we see our high. Maybe something like that. I'm not saying it has to be on a Wednesday because these two were on a Wednesday, but these two were on a Wednesday. So, make with that what you will of it. So, everything looks great, guys. No complaints. Some people I literally told you guys too yesterday. I gave you 2 scenarios for AMC. I said expect maybe some red early in the morning. That's what we got. We came down to $6, and then I said from there you're going to work your way back up to a higher high, which we did, and then from there you're going to come down again. That's exactly what I said yesterday, and that's exactly what happened today. SPY pretty much nailed it again with the SPY, so I could see a pre-market gap down to 410, pre-market gap down to 411. From there, you could expect it to go back to 416, trade sideways there, and maybe close there. Pre-market gaps down to 411, goes back up to 416, trades there for a few hours, closes around 412, 413. Pretty spot on again. Guys, we're there. I'm expecting all-time highs next week, early next week, somewhere in the Monday to Wednesday range. And the only reason I'm saying Wednesday is because maybe they do run it on a Wednesday again, because these were both on Wednesday. I'm expecting more Monday, Tuesday, but maybe there's some significance to the peaks being on a Wednesday. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but they both were on a Wednesday. So I'm expecting all-time highs next week, Monday to Wednesday sometime. Maybe it's later in the week. Who the fuck knows? I'm just giving you what I think. We are like I said. I've been tracking this for over a year now, probably about a year and a half. I've been tracking these three fractals, and it was the same exact thing the whole time. The whole entire time that I was tracking these guys, it was the same exact thing. Little to no deviation, like I said, and we are at the end. We are at the end of it, where you break out, gap up, get a sideways day, break out, gap up, get a sideways day. The next thing, guys, is fucking all-time highs. That's where we are. The fractals are done. The bars pattern, we're done. This is where we are. The second candle here is where we are, right before you algo just snaps and you go up. So that's where we are, guys. I'm expecting a very, very exciting week next week. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and let's go. I'm fucking pumped for Monday. See you guys then.